everyone, I'm back with one of my videos. Today I will not be speaking anything about motivation or about anything about counseling, but I'm going to be reviewing a movie. This is a particular movie which is from 2018. It was released in India in 2018, so I am going to speak about it now because I watched it during this COVID period. I watched it now with my son, and I'll tell you one thing about this movie. It didn't really scare me at all. I am a horror movie, horror story, horror novel buff, and I love reading these books. I love watching these movies at the most scariest of the times. I don't like to watch horror movies when it's during the day. Nothing, I mean, it won't scare me, right? So it really scares me when I watch it, like say around 12 o'clock at night, or when I'm reading a novel. I love reading my horror novels when it's like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock at night and there's nobody around. It's eerie and you get the goosebumps. That's the right time to watch a movie or to read a horror novel. But what happened was that when I watched this movie with my son, I was totally unimpressed. I was very, very unimpressed because I'll tell you why. Because when I watched this movie, The Nun, I thought it was going to really scare me a lot, because when I saw the first nun, it was like, it gave me the creeps. You know, when I saw the face of the nun and in that frame and all those kind of things. But when I watched the second Nun, which was released in India in 2018, the director is Corin Hardy, and the writers of the story are James Wan and Gary Doberman. I would like to tell them a message. I would like to give them a message, not to the director, but to the writers, the writers of The Nun, that you have to do better at writing horror novels, writing horror stories, sorry, because it wasn't scary enough. It wasn't making me get the goosebumps. It wasn't making me feel the, you know, those hair on my arms and my back rise. It was nothing like it. It was really ordinary stuff. And if anybody wants to watch this movie, I would suggest don't watch it, even though 82% have liked this movie. They say, this is the review here, 82% have liked this movie, but I don't think you should watch it, because it doesn't have that feeling of fear. If you're really somebody who really likes horror movies and who really likes to get the jitters and the goosebumps, and you don't feel like going to the washroom or to the kitchen or to any other place in the dark, but you still want to watch these movies, I would suggest you don't watch it, because it doesn't give you the scare. Because towards the end, I'm giving this plot away because it's already it's an old movie, it's 2018, but those, you know, it's kind of a zombie effect. You know, there are these ghosts jumping about here and there. You know, I'll tell you one thing about ghost stories. You know, ghost stories are supposed to make you, horror stories or ghost stories are supposed to make you feel scared when you actually don't see what's there on the screen. Because if you get to see a zombie, or if you get to see what's making you scared, or what's not making you scared, you don't tend to like that movie at all, right? So I really didn't enjoy The Nun, because towards the end I was almost laughing. And when I was talking about this with my nephew, and he said that yes, this turned out to be it was such a funny movie. You know, it was more like a movie at the circus. I'm sorry, but I didn't mean to go so mean on the review, but it is like that. You know, if you are going to make good horror movies, make one which is going to give the scares, which is going to absolutely chill out people. I mean, create a havoc in people, and it's going to absolutely make sure that they watch you the next time. Because if you're going to make movies like this, which is going to be so run-of-the-mill and which is going to be so predictable, then nobody's going to watch your movies. Because I remember, if let me tell the viewers something. I watched this movie. This is a 1982 movie, The Entity, and I watched it when I was a really young girl, and I think I was just out of college at that point of time, or no, I was still in school. In 82 I was still in school, and but I watched it much later, because at that point of time we didn't have this movie coming in the halls. We had VHS cassettes, and we were not allowed to watch these horror movies by our parents because it was only once in a while that we were allowed to watch one movie. But anyway, we watched this somehow. Somebody gave us this movie, and this movie, which is directed by Sidney J. Fury, and this particular movie scared the hell out of me because I was like a little girl from I think I was in junior school at that point of time. But I watched it. I sneaked and I watched it because my parents were watching it, and with their friends, and they're in the VCP player and then I happened to sneak in and I said I want to watch it also because I used to be very interested in horror novels at that point of time. I used to read a lot of horror novels. I remember reading Audrey Rose, and I remember reading a lot of stuff. And then, you know, these books, which I had a huge collection of horror novels. My neighbor in Shillong actually took them all from me to read and never returned them back to me again. And that was the saddest day of my life when the person came back and told me that he has taken away all my, he came back and he told me that somebody in the house had taken all the books away, and I was totally heartbroken. I was devastated. And because those were some books which I had collected because I loved horror novels, I loved horror movies, and they really gave me the creeps, and I loved it. I haven't been reading a lot these days, horror novels, but I've been watching a lot of these movies, and I think somehow that this movie, it's about if you've still not watched it, I'm not going to give this away, but then this is about a single mother, Carla Moran, and she is traumatized by this entity which you cannot see, and then, you know, that's the scariest part because you don't see what is actually haunting her. So that gives the creeps. You don't want to see a zombie on screen, and you don't want to laugh at a zombie chasing the protagonist. That's very babyish and very childish. And I thought The Nun was going to be really good, and I thought it would give me the creeps and the jitters, but it did not. But Entity, if you guys still haven't watched The Entity, it's a 1982 movie. You must watch it. I don't think it's available on Netflix, but you can watch it. Otherwise, you can search for it on Google and find out where you can watch it. But it's really great, and if you really want to be really scared and you want to get those goosebumps, then you must watch Entity. I'm going to come back with more reviews, and I'm going to talk more about horror stories. And I've been watching a lot of movies with my son recently. We've been watching a whole lot of Southeast Asian movies as well, and these movies have created so much, and there's so many layers to the stories. So I'm going to come back and tell you more about watching these movies, so stay tuned. And in the meanwhile, while I put up this particular video on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon so that you get regular updates whenever I put up a video. And of course, don't forget to like and share so that it really helps in the algorithm, you know. So thank you for that. Thank you for always appreciating me. I have seen so many of you have put in your comments in my YouTube comment box, and that's really nice. That's very nice. Thank you so much, and do keep watching my YouTube videos. I'm going to come back for more. Thank you for watching. Bye.